Psychology's toolbox has many specialized branches, each with their own distinct focus and mission. One such branch is educational psychology, which, as the name suggests, is concerned with the scientific study of how people learn in educational settings. It draws on learning theories from educational science, neuroscience, and child development to better understand teaching and learning dynamics. But who is considered the father of this field? In this video, we'll look at some of the top contenders and find out why one psychologist came out on top. If you search the internet for the title of the father of educational psychology, most sources will direct you to one man, Edward Lee Thorndike. Born in 1874, Thorndike was an American psychologist who pioneered the field of educational psychology. Why exactly is he considered to be the father of this field? Let's take a look at 3 reasons. Reason number 1. Thorndike was a pioneer in the field of educational psychology. His work laid the foundation for the scientific study of learning and helped establish psychology as an integral part of education. Thorndike's most well-known contribution is his theory of learning known as the law of effect. This law, which he derived from his animal experiments, proposes that behaviors followed by satisfying consequences are more likely to be repeated than those followed by dissatisfying consequences. In other words, learning is a process of trial and error, and the consequences of our actions shape our behavior. This discovery had a profound impact on the field of education, emphasizing the importance of providing positive feedback and reinforcement to students to encourage desired behaviors and academic performance. His work was also very influential for the later development of B.F. Skinner's operant conditioning theory. Thorndike was not only interested in how people learn but also how to measure learning and intelligence. He believed that in order for educational psychology to be a legitimate science, it needed to be based on objective measurement and assessment. He developed many of the early intelligence tests used in the United States, and his work contributed to the development of standardized testing, which is now an integral part of the education system. Reason number 2. Thorndike was an incredibly prolific author, and many of his works are still considered foundational texts in the field of educational psychology. His 1903 book, Educational Psychology, was one of the first textbooks on the subject, and it helped to introduce the scientific study of learning to a wider audience. He also wrote extensively on other topics related to education, such as the psychology of reading and the psychology of moral character. Finally, reason number 3, Thorndike's ideas and theories had a direct impact on educational practices. He was one of the first psychologists to bridge the gap between theory and practice, demonstrating how psychological principles can be applied to real-world educational settings. For example, his work on the law of effect led to the development of behaviorist classrooms, where teachers focused on positive reinforcement and reward systems to manage student behavior. While some of Thorndike's ideas have been criticized as being too simplistic, his overall contribution to the field of educational psychology is undeniable. He is considered to be the father of the field because he helped to establish it as a legitimate scientific discipline and because he made significant contributions to our understanding of how people learn. However, Thorndike wasn't the only psychologist who made significant contributions to the field of education. Some might argue that the title of the father of educational psychology should go to William James, who is often called the father of American psychology. His 1899 book, Talks to Teachers on Psychology, is considered to be one of the first books to connect psychology to education. James was also a strong advocate for the importance of studying the child in order to better understand how to teach them. Another contender for the title is John Dewey, who was a progressive educator and philosopher. Dewey believed that learning should be experiential and that students should be at the center of the educational process. His ideas had a major impact on the development of progressive education, and he is still widely read today. More recently, Jean Piaget, who was a cognitive psychologist, has made significant contributions to our understanding of how the human mind develops. His theory of cognitive development, which outlines the stages that children go through as they develop intellectually, has had a major impact on educational psychology. So while there is no doubt that Thorndike was a major figure in the development of educational psychology, the field would not be what it is today without the contributions of these other psychologists and many others. Nonetheless, Thorndike's pioneering work in applying experimental methods to educational issues and his direct impact on classroom practices and assessment strategies have secured his legacy as the father of educational psychology. Did you know that Thorndike's work was also influential in the field of animal psychology? If you're interested in learning more about the history of psychology and the groundbreaking discoveries that shaped our understanding of the mind, stay tuned for more videos. And as always, thanks for watching.